Okay, a tougher example now. This is number 16 in section 4.5. Again, there's three things you need to be comfortable with here. The first thing you gotta be able to determine is what kind of conic section this is. The second thing you gotta be able to do is convert it into standard form. And the last thing you gotta be able to do is be able to graph it. So again, we need to look at this equation and we need to be able to determine right away what kind of conic section it is. First thing we can see is that we have no x squared term. We only have an x term. There is no x squared term. So if only one of them has a linear term, we know right away this is a parabola. So next thing we're going to try to do is we're going to try to get the y squared term by itself and move all the other terms to the other side. So we're going to have here negative y squared minus 2y. So that's going to stay on that side. Now I'm going to move the 4x to the other side and a negative 33 to the other side, so it'll become negative 4x plus 33. Okay, the next thing we got to do is we have to convert it now into, we have to complete the square here. Let's complete the square. And what we're going to do is, let's go ahead and first divide everything by negative 1. We need this coefficient to be a positive. Y squared plus 2y equals 4x minus 33. So again, I did that again is because I need this coefficient to be positive. Right there, it needs to be positive 1. Okay, I'm now going to complete the square here. I need what? I'm going to take half of this right here. Half of 2 is 1, and then square 1. So the 1 squared is 1. So I'm going to add 1 there. So color shows up a little better here. Add 1. If I add 1 to that side, that means I need to add 1 to this side. So again, to complete this square here, we divide this by 2. 2 is 1. So we're going to have y plus 1 squared equals 4x minus 32. Okay, it's starting to look like that's standard form now. Now we need to get the x with a coefficient of 1. So right here we got a y with a coefficient of 1. Let's get this x with a coefficient of 1. Let's factor out that 4. So now we got that 4 factored out. So we have just a coefficient of 1 right there. So it's starting to look more and more like that standard form. That's what our goal is. Now the last thing we have to do is we have to determine what p is. So again, the standard form says 4p. So 4 times what is 4? 4 times 1 is 4. So we now know our vertex in this problem. Okay, again, my x is over here, my y is on the other side now. So x 8 and y is negative 1. And then my p here is 1. So now I'm using the y squared version here, so I'm going to change the x. So my focus is 8 plus 1 and negative 1, which makes it 9 negative 1. And the last thing we want to find is a directrix. Directrix there will be x equals k minus p this time, so it'll be 8 minus 1, x is 7. So again, we need to be comfortable with using all 3 of these, finding all 3 of these for a parabola. Vertex, focus, and directrix there. Okay, so now we got to be able to graph it here. So we have the vertex is 8, negative 1. Vertex is 8, negative 1. Our focus is 9, negative 1. And then our directrix is at negative 7. I apologize, positive 7. So again, the focus will always be inside the parabola. So our parabola looks something like this. So we can see the focus is inside the parabola. That's how I know which way that parabola is going to go.